Thanks for the support as a channel member, Grant Charman. Oh, boys and girls, this is looking like it's shaping up to be the best season in the history of Bourne Town Football Club. We're kind of running away with the league. Our £6 million striker is scoring goals. This is a lot of fun at the moment. Hello and welcome to part 61 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have League 2 games away against Crewe and at home against Rochdale. Since you were last with me, we were on a lovely 5-game winning run where we were scoring goals for fun. Chris Sadler, the guy who went for £6 million to West Ham as a teenager, finally starting to score goals. If he gets one more goal this season, it's the best goal return of his career, and it will still be less than £1 goal per £1 million West Ham paid for him. He's been scoring lots of goals. We've been playing very well. We had a little bit of a blip against Waterlooville, who are second bottom, but the league table is still looking very good. We're 8 points clear at the top. Yes, Rochdale have a game in hand, but remember, all season long, we don't really care the difference between us and second or third. It's all about the difference between us and fourth. Those automatic promotion spots. Going up as champions is nice. Going up is all that's really important, though, and we're 12 points clear of Bolton, who are down in fourth place, and they don't have any games in hand over us. So it's starting to look, with 13 games to go, like we have a very good chance for automatic promotion. By the end of this episode, the teams behind us might have to catch up at more than a point a game, which is always a pretty steep thing to ask a team to do in a promotion race if we're not completely collapsing. So we're playing, who are we playing? We're playing Crewe first up. This is the team we're putting out there. And we've got Hattersley in goal, a back four of Barnes, O'Driscoll, Washbourne and Dodd. Broadbent and McWilliams in midfield, Goldie, Palmer and Berry supporting Sadler up front, who so far looking like the best player at the club. He's in line for a Player of the Season award. Who knew a £6 million striker coming into a League 2 team, still only 23 years old, would be a difference maker? It took him a little while to get match fit and into the team, but now he is. He's a wonderful thing. Right. I tell you what, let's pile on some misery. I love piling on misery. Where are Crewe in the league? Crewe are down in 16th place. Don't read too much into that because we have just lost to Havant and Waterlooville. So league position still has the potential to slip us up if we're not playing at our best. But when we are at our best, we're very, very good. So hopefully that wasn't the start of a bottle job. We'll know more by the end of this match. But hopefully there isn't a bottle job incoming. Because I hate that. I hate it. I don't want all that nonsense. I get enough abuse in the comments from Non-League to Legend. I don't need it in this series as well. Let's all be nice. Let's just get promoted. Let's go up as champions and have a lovely time doing it. That's probably for the best. Broadbent. Lovely tackle from Broadbent. And there's Goldie winning the ball back as well. In fact, both of those tackles that I've enjoyed have both resulted in Crewe still having the ball afterwards. So the tackles weren't that great. Cross comes in and luckily their header is over and doesn't trouble Hattersley in goal. But we need to be a little bit wary of what they're getting up to because they've had a couple of decent opportunities early on and we're struggling to get anything going at the moment. We miss Chris Dean when he's not in the team. He certainly pulls a lot of strings in that midfield usually, but Broadbent's got enough about him to be able to do that job with McWilliams doing his running alongside him. But for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to be what's happening today. And again, there's a cross coming in and a header that thankfully is just looping over the crossbar. Their striker not quite shooting on target yet today. Hattersley yet to be properly troubled, but at the same extent, that's not a sentence. At the same time, we've not troubled their keeper at all. I don't think there's been a highlight for us in that entire first half. So this is problematic. Let's get our assertive boots on. I'm not happy with your performance out there. That's fired everybody up. Let's get out there and score a goal. Dodd with the free kick. Their keeper just flapped for it. Oh, bless him, bless him, bless him. He was nowhere near it. It's like he was trying to fly, like a little bird trying to fly out of the nest and just falling. Oh, dear. And O'Driscoll picks up the pieces from their goalkeeper's pitiful attempt at being a goalkeeper. If that had been given offside, I'd have been very upset because it was nowhere near. But thankfully, the linesman sees sense, and we are 1-0 up. And I mean, I don't care how we do it. It would have been nice to do a free-flowing attacking move of beautifulness and have Sadler finish it off after I've talked so positively about him. But if we have to do it from a goalkeeper mistake from a set piece, don't care. There is Sadler, in fact, and that goes just wide as well. It seems crosses aren't really being effective today because both of the strikers for the two teams are just missing every cross that comes into the area. Sadler's feeling aggressive, as is Washbourne. Better keep those two apart or they'll get all aggressive with each other. Right, let's bring Dodds on because Sadler hasn't played well today. He has had a long run of games in the team and Dodds has been missing out for well, believe it or not, missing out for that amount of time because we only play with one striker. We're also going to bring Chapman on for Palmer to offer something a little bit different in that attacking midfield role and see if the two attacking changes make us a bit more of a threat going forward. We have a free kick on the edge of the area. It is Chapman to take and Chapman hits the inside of the post. Not quite living up to his name there. You see the name Chapman and you think immediately he's going to be the greatest player you've ever seen and didn't quite live up to it there. Goldie is, I don't know if he's taken a knock or just suffering with an injury there. Taken a knock or suffering with an injury or could just be tired. We're going to bring Gary Mitchell on. Mitchell started the season as just a guy who was there because he was homegrown, and as the season's gone on, I'm starting to use him more and more because he always had a lot of potential and he never looks out of place. When he comes on, Hattersley's done well there. Bearing in mind, that's the first real chance Crewe have had in this game in the 87th minute, and Hattersley had to be alert to it, and he was, and he's done very well there. And Washbourne heads as far as McWilliams, who looks to lump it over the top to Dodds, who is in, but had too long to think about it, so hit it straight at the goalkeeper. Time and time again, we see Graham Dodds do exactly that thing. Right, Dodd with the throw. Who's he looking for? There's several options around him. He goes for Berry. It goes back to Dodd. We've got players queued up in the middle, but it ends up with McWilliams. Broadbent's in loads of space, just hovering, just sort of midway through that half. If we give it to Broadbent, he can pick a pass. But in actual fact, Dodd's done, I thought Dodd had done well and won a corner, but somehow he's given away a free kick. It doesn't matter massively because we're into the 92nd minute, but Crewe have the ball, so it would be nice to win it back off of them so they don't go and score. Here is Broadbent, finally getting a bit of midfield space. Finds Dodds, who plays it out to Dodd. I can't play those two at the same time. It's just silly. Dodd, again, can't get past his man. Finds Broadbent eventually, though. Chapman misses out, gives it back to Broadbent. That's where the ball should be going. If in doubt, give it back to Terry Broadbent, who's always in space and can always pick a pass. And he's got this move going nicely. And here is Mitchell. I said he doesn't ever look out of place. He plays it across to Dodds, who can't quite apply the finish. But Mitchell doing very well, creating a very good chance for Dodds. And we've got away with it a little bit there today. It's become a bit of a motto of the season that teams that win titles win games when they're not playing very well. We've done it again there. The gap at the top is now 13 points down to fourth place. And now we play our closest title challengers, Rochdale, who are 8 points behind with a game in hand. We could get one toe on the trophy. I don't know why we're going foot first at a football trophy, but we are. We can have one toe on the trophy if we can beat them next. Couple of changes for the Rochdale game, both caused by an injury to Berry. Where is he? There he is. It's not a serious one. He's only going to be out for a couple of days. But with him being unavailable, it means we can bring Dean back in the midfield so he can join up with Broadbent in the centre of midfield again. And it also means on the right-hand side, Michael Norman gets a rare start, who came in the summer, lots of potential, not used him very much because Berry's been as good as he has. But today gets his opportunity in a big game for us. And we need to get back to that form we were in for the majority of January when we looked awesome, because this is a team who are probably arguably in better form than we are. In fact, we're still the informed team in the league. They're in fifth. Well, that's interesting, because our last couple of games haven't been that impressive. It shows how topsy-turvy form can be in these lower leagues, as it always is. You rarely have a team that wins 5 or 6 games on the bounce. So the fact we've done it quite recently, I guess, does mean we are still the form team. Palmer with a lovely free kick early on, forcing the save out of the Rochdale keeper. It still makes me laugh every time I look at the terraces in this ground and there's just nobody in them. we really need to move to a new stadium fairly pronto, because this is just silly, the fact that we can't use 3/4 of this one. Especially if we're going to be going up to League One next year. I think that's a nice time to announce a new ground being built. Maybe a ground share for a year. Go and get into a stadium that we can actually get some fans in. Not that we have a lot of fans, but Posh are just down the road. We could ground share with them for a year while we build a new ground either on this site or head out to Milking Nook that we identified way back when. We'd love a ground at Milking Nook near the rugby ground. Lots of yellow cards being accumulated by Rochdale. They seem to be dirty. We don't want dirty players in Bourne. We're in lovely Lincolnshire. We don't have dirty football here. Dodd plays it into Dean. Dean to Palmer. Palmer looking for options ahead of him. Can't get past that guy. He's just kicked at him twice. Send him off, referee. Norman trying to show us what he's got about him. Plays it back to Dodd. This is with some nice passing possession football here. Dean to Palmer to Broadbent. How many touches have we had since Rochdale last touched the ball? That is a world-class goal. If someone wants to go back and count the passes in the build-up to that, I will not be offended if you do such a thing. But we had the ball for a long, long time. And I think just about everybody in our attack touched the ball as part of that move as well, and Rochdale just weren't getting near it. We've exposed them as a bunch of thugs who want to kick us, and if they can't kick us, once they're on the yellow cards and they can't kick us anymore, we can just knock the ball around them like they're not there. Lovely, lovely football. More of that in the second half, please. Dodd plays it back to Washbourne, I think that is on that side. It could have been O'Driscoll. I'm not entirely sure which one it was because his name didn't appear above his head. But here's Broadbent. Plays it. Oh, look at Broadbent there. Just waiting for the tackle to come in, then knocks the pass out to Barnes. Broadbent across to Dean this time. Back to Broadbent. I think that's pass 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're fouled and they're getting sent off for it. We're frustrating them with our passing. And as a football fan, having watched Posh play some beautiful football over the years, it's always my favourite when we can knock the ball around teams with short passes, frustrate them and start getting players committing fouls and getting sent off. It's the most fun you can ever have. And this is exactly what we're doing to Rochdale here, who, I might add, our closest challengers. And what a goal from Chris Sadler from out of nowhere. That's what £6 million buys you. He probably still thinks he's playing for West Ham, looking at the kit today. Barnes played it into him. It looks like there's nothing coming from this, but he just turns on a sixpence, and that shot was perfectly placed. 2-0 now. They're down to 10 men, and we're starting to have some fun. 62% possession, 83% pass completion, and it's only going to get more painful for Rochdale as we continue to knock the ball around them. Norman across to Palmer this time, who skips past his man and shoots from range, hits the outside of the post. Goldie's picked up the scraps, but can't quite. I mean, I think what he should be doing there is trying to play it into the path of Sadler in the middle, but I think he was trying to be a little bit greedy and grab himself a goal, which you can't really blame him for when we're 2-0 up and playing well. But as it stands right now, 15 points clear of fourth place Stevenage, and you've got to feel like 15 points clear with what, 13 games left, is it? We're there. We're almost there. Right, O'Driscoll, we haven't got a centre-back on the bench, which isn't ideal. Mark Sheffield can play there, but I don't really want to bring him on to play there. Chapman also not on the bench today. Where are all my substitutes that I want to use? McNulty can come on and play on that wing, and we'll take off Dean, and McWilliams can come on in there. I think the passing play will slow down a little bit with that change. And that's why I didn't want to bring Mark Sheffield on before, because I knew Barnes was going to get injured and Mark Sheffield would have to come on and play at left back. It's a bit of a worry when you see one of our best players go down with an immediate dark red injury. We'll check in on that before the episode ends. Mark Sheffield with the cross. It's bobbling around in the area. It's all got a little bit more scrappy now with those changes. And Rochdale win the ball back, lump it forward, but O'Driscoll is there relatively unchallenged to play it all the way back to Hattersley in goal, who should take his time, pick his player. That player should always be Terry Broadbent, and he plays it forward to Palmer. McNulty now, he's got Dodd overlapping him on the right-hand side if he decides to use him. He does. Dodd plays it back to McNulty, into McWilliams, who shoots from range, and that deserved better because it was another very good move. But at 2-0, I think it's time to drop a little bit of praise, because it's a big contrast to the performance in the last game. It's still only a 2-0 win, but it's been such an efficient one and we've played so well. And I think this game, more than any other game this season, shows just how good of a team we've become. And there's some players who are starting to get properly established here at Bourne now. The likes of Broadbent, who's been here a little while, are forming the backbone of a very good side. And there we are with 11 games left, is it? It's a 46-game season. It's 11 games left. We're 15 points clear of Stevenage. I mean, we're 11 points clear at the top of the league from Rochdale. They still have that game in hand, but champions, boys and girls. We are going to be champions. We'll come back somewhere around here at the point where we can actually secure automatic promotion. So if we're 15 points clear, what's that, 5 games before? So we're going to be coming back somewhere in here because I want to get promoted on camera. That will be fun. So we'll come back just in time to secure promotion, and that will be tomorrow's video. Oh, we were going to check on Barnes, weren't we? Let's check on Barnes. Barnes has done his hamstring and he's going to be out for a little while, which isn't ideal, but at least we've got Mark Scheffel as a replacement who can come straight in. And it means Dean can play the rest of the season now, pretty much. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.